Okay, beautiful people. It's your mentor, Dumelo JPY here. Welcome to another session with me. So on today's session, we are going to be dealing with how I managed to catch over 100R just by trading NZD USD alone. So first thing first, I want to take you guys through my trading style, how I go about analyzing the market and everything. So the first thing that I managed to see about NZD USD was that, okay, we are pushing on a berry structure, right? My analysis are mostly based off H4 and D1 for the overall direction, and then the rest just follows after that, your H1, M30, and your smaller time frames. So what I did was that the first thing I wanted to do was that it was to spot my highs and lows, right? I managed to see that these were my highs and that these were my lows. Understand? So I saw that this was the first protected high. Understand? So this was my first protected high. And then price took this low out. Price managed to take this low out, and then about that, have a break here. And then this became my next protected high. Why? Because of this high, when it was formulated, price was not responsible for taking out the previous high out. Because one thing you should know is that on a berry structure, we take our lows out, not our highs. So when this high was formulated, it was not supposed to take this high out, which it didn't. So this makes that this high strong. And what makes this high strong also is that this high managed to take the low out and lows below it actually. So which means when this high will be formulated, it is not supposed to do what? This high is not supposed to take this high out. You understand? If you take this high out, this means that this high won't be valid anymore. You understand? So now we see that price takes this low out, price take this low out, and then this high doesn't take that high out anymore. And then automatically we have this guy here as what? As our strong high. So I keep on making this mistake here. That's fine. So we end up having something like this. So now I started trading NZD from this zone. As you can see that I cut my chart. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I went about trading the whole movement, right? So one thing that I looked for was price creating a low. So this was the current low that I found price with. You understand? So this was the current low that I found price with. And then with this, I managed to see that, now I'm trading in between this high and this low here. You understand? Which means I'm trading in between that high and this sell side liquidity that is lying here. You understand? Which means now I must look for an entry point that can push price to the downside, right? And then you can see that by this time, price has automatically violated all types of order blocks that have been found within the zone here. So what I did was that I patiently waited for price to show me a direction of where it's planning to go, right? What I saw was that if price takes out this high and closes above this high, this means that there will be a switch or a change of character within the markets. But now, if price breaks a high and fails to close above it, that thing can be considered as a break, right? So I saw that price broke this high and failed to close above this high. So what I waited for was a form of confirmation. So what I normally do is that I go to my hourly time frame, and then one thing that I saw was that I think it was somewhere within this range here. I patiently waited for price to create a structure like this. When price created like this, I was like, okay, good shot. What can I do now? Price is pushing on a berry structure, creating all these breaks here. As you can see, we have a break at this low, and then price failed to take this high out, right? Price failed to take this high out. And then when we have such type of things, what exactly came into my mind was that, I was going to look for a selling opportunity, but even if you use a fee from this high to this low here, you can see that, price never came to my golden zone, right? Or my order block even. So I was like, let me continue pushing with price, right? I saw that, price came down and it took this low out, and then closed below this low here. Let me just align this thing properly, and closed below this low here. When price closed below that low, I knew that, this high here, it becomes a strong high automatically, which means now I can start looking for my selling opportunity from this high to this low here. I can start looking for my selling opportunities from this golden zone here. So this was my first entry point that I took, right? Let me just fix that. Let me just not drop you guys because I want to fix this thing from this high to this low here. So this is the range here. Okay. So now that's where I was looking for to take in my selling opportunities, right? And then I'm gonna take my shorts from here, and then this will definitely be my stop loss just right there. And then where exactly am I targeting? I want to see price taking out my sell side liquidity, right? And then price does what? It impulsively moves beautifully to the upside. It taps us in, as you all can see. Price taps us in, and then we have that beautiful drop to the downside now. You understand? We have that beautiful drop to the downside now. So let me just fix this thing now. We have that drop. But at first, if you want to take your shots, you can close your profits off this zone here. But I want to swing this trade to the downside, right? And then price pushes beautifully to the downside. When price pushes beautifully to the downside like this, I was like, okay, let me look for another opportunity. Price takes this low out. Once price takes this low out, this high here becomes a newly protected high. Let me look for the high. Yeah, this high here becomes a newly protected high. And then which means now, if I'm clever enough, I can do what? I can also look for my newly formulated selling opportunities, which means I can start looking for my selling opportunities of this golden zone here, right? I can start looking for my selling opportunities of what? Of the zone here, right? So now price does what? It impulsive beautifully to the upside. It taps us in, and then it ends up taking us out. So normally when you take this type of entry points, if you see that your order block and what do you call this thing, your golden zone, they're at the same zone, use the whole candlestick of the order block, right? So this was my initial order block, and then this means that okay, my entry points was based off what? It was based off this thing, and then my stop loss will have to be based off this high here. You understand? Because normally one thing I've learned about trading smart money concept is that okay, stop losses. If you use the normal order block stop loss, price will always eliminate you. So try to use the high of that order block, which means if there is a high above that order block, use that one instead of the original order block. Automatically, this is a 16-hour trade, and then this will be a 9-hour trade now. So price does what? It impulsively moves to the downside to do what? To go hit our targets, right? Which means our targets has been hit. So those were my first trade that I managed to take. So what I'm gonna be doing, guys, is that okay, I'm gonna be removing this guys when time goes on. I just want to leave you guys with my trades alone, because this thing will make my charts look bad. Okay. So now these were the first two trades that I managed to take, and then automatically this here becomes a strong high. This moves from a sell side liquidity to a break. And then now, which means I'm gonna start looking for my selling opportunities. Why? Because I'm on a selling trend, right? I'm on what? A selling trend. I'm gonna look for new selling opportunities, right? And then price does what? Let's see what price does. It passes beautifully to the upside, and then this means that okay, this will be my low. So how did I go about entering the markets here, right? Let me just cut price here. What I did here was that okay, I went to my hourly time frame. When I got to my hourly time frame, I saw that okay, how about I use this guy here, this whole zone here, as my supply zone, as my entry tomorrow, right? I look for selling opportunities at that zone there. So now, price does what? It's not even about my order block. Even if my order block is invalid or valid, the only thing I'm gonna be focusing on is the type of confirmation I find within the markets, right? And then automatically, don't forget that okay, this becomes what? Sell side liquidity that we need to take out. And then price does what? It impulses to the upside, taps us in, and then price plays around. I think there was a little bit of fundamental somewhere there. So let's just cut price here and come to this zone here. We go to our 5 minutes time frame. When we get to our 5 minutes time frame, let's just go to 15 minutes actually. So when 15 minutes is a little bit further, so let's go to our 5 actually. So now what I saw was that okay, this is how I go about taking my confirmation entry points, guys. So firstly, I look at the type of trend that price was pushing on. It was pushing on an uptrend, creating a series of highs and lows, as you all can see here. Let me just copy this thing to the side. So price was creating a series of highs and lows. So we have a high, we have a low, we have a high, and then we have a low here, right? And then we have a high, and then we have a low here. So this is the last high that price created, right? So which means we were trending in between what? We're trending, let me just show you guys here. I like to make sure that okay, my charts make sense to you guys. We have a break, we have another break here, and then we have the last break here, right? We have the last break here. And then what can you see from an uptrend? We know that okay, on an uptrend, we don't take our lows out, right? So when you see an X, this means that, okay, the zones shall not be taken out. But what exactly do we see from the markets here? Price ends up doing what? Price ends up taking this low out here. You understand? And mind you, this must happen. Why? Because of we've just tapped into our order block. So now we are looking for either an SMS or a change of character when price taps into the zone here, into our order block, right? So now price does what? It breaks this high, it comes back to the downside, it fails to respect this low here, and automatically gives us what? A change of character, which means that now I can use the last buying candlestick here as my confirmation entry point. You understand? So I'm gonna take my shorts here, I'm gonna take my selling opportunities of the market here, and then my take profit will definitely be where? Will definitely be at this low here, right? My take profit will definitely be at that low there. So now, like I said, a simple definition for a change of character or in confirmation entry point. You look at the previous trend that we are on. This is what? A buying trend, right? So for you to switch from a buying trend to a selling trend, you need to disrespect the rules of an uptrend. On an uptrend, we break highs, not lows. But here, price took out the low, which means it creates a charge. But if price fails to take out a high, that's an SMS automatically. So you need to know those things by heart. So now let's see what price does. It impulsively moves to the upside and then ends up doing what? This is a 5 minutes time frame. It's gonna take us a while, but let's see after how many pips it's gonna like go and type us in, or we are in now. Let me just pause price here and go to our 1 hour time frame. So I'll just have to remove this thing, guys, because like I said, I want my charts to be a little bit neat so that you guys can be able to see everything. But there will be a lot of drawing and everything here. So we take our selling opportunities there. We're targeting our lows. We're still targeting those lows there. Let's go back to our 4 hour actually. We're still targeting those lows there. So price does what? It passes to the downside. We are currently running in some few pips, but the overall take profit is gonna be 25R, right? And then probably, yeah, we locked our profits. We locked some of our profits because of the risk-free entry point. And then price does what? It retraces back to the upside, right? And then that's what it ends up taking out our highs out. You understand? Which means here we only managed to eat how many pips here? We took our BE, which means we only managed to eat 17R, right? That was something that everyone managed to see actually as profits. So let me re-explain the whole structure now. We had a break of structure, our graph of liquidity, a point of interest. When price respects your order block but fails to take your low out on a downtrend, this automatically becomes an SMS. You understand? A shift of market structure. You understand? Which means now the high, when it gets itself taken out, this thing here is going to be a break, not a change of character. A change of character only occurs when price takes out a high without any reaction. But here there's a reaction of what? A respect at our order block, but price fails to take our, what do you call this thing? It fails to take our low out, which is this one here. So when it takes the high out, automatically it creates what? A change of character from it. So listen to me and see what I'm gonna do now. When we have this break here, automatically I went to my 1 hour time frame and I was like, okay, I have to look for my entry point. I use this guy here as my entry point here, right? I use this guy here as my entry point zone. So I was like, I'm gonna take my buying opportunities of this guy here. So this will be my order block, right? Why? Because of I have a break there at the top. But the first thing that I managed to do was that, okay, at this zone here, I went to my smaller time frame. Which can be a 15 minutes time frame. And I saw that, okay, normally what I like to do as to manage JPY, I like to trade highs and lows, right? So which means I'm going to trade what you call a model, which is a sell to buy model, which means I'm going to be taking my selling opportunities off the market here to this order block here. You understand? So how do I do that? It's simple. You look at the type of trend that you're in. Price was pushing on what? Price was pushing on a bullish structure, right? Price was pushing on just want to copy this thing here. Yeah, about that. Price was pushing on a bullish structure, right? Let me just look for a place where I can find this thing. Yeah, price was pushing on what? On a bullish structure, right? And then how can we see that? We had this high here, and then we had this low here, and then we had this low here, we had this high here, right? So we also have, yeah, those are the guys that we have. and then we have him here as our high, then we have him here as our low. We still go about mapping out our charts. We have our break at the top. We have all our breaks where at the top, we have another break here at the top to confirm that we're pushing on a bullish structure, right? We have our breaks at the top, and then we have what? We have our strong lows. As you can see, we have our strong low, we have another strong low here, and then we have a strong low here. But what does price do here? It takes out this low here. When it takes out this low here, automatically this becomes what? A change of character. You understand? When this becomes a change of character, price does what? It plays around to the downside. And then I just waited for price to create a proper low. So this was my proper low here. If this was my proper low, I managed to see that, okay, from this high here, from this high, and then to this low here, we are turning in between these two guys here. This will be our low. When we have this guy here as our low, what comes into your mind is that, okay, now you want to take a fib from your high to your low. You understand? And then start looking for your selling opportunities off the markets here, blind zones, where everyone would be taking their opportunities. You want to use what? Your golden zone as what? As your key instrument. So you want to use this guy here as your stop loss. And then you want to target what? This low here. You want to take the selling opportunities to that low. So now let's see what price does. Price pushes beautifully to the downside. As you can see that, okay, price pushes beautifully to the downside. And then it ends up being what? Ends up hitting our take profit. So I just want to pause price here. So this is what you call a 14-hour trade. But if you use the whole thing here, this can be a 21-hour trade. So I want us to remove all these things now. Because I want us to push with price. So we cut those cells from that zone there. And then now we want to start doing what? Looking for overall buying opportunities, because we know that, okay, we're supposed to look for buying opportunities within the markets there. For our time frame, price tapped us in. As you can see on a 4-hour time frame, price tapped us in beautifully. So you want to look for a change of character that will push price to the upside, right? You want to look for that change of character. So now you do what? You go to your what? You go to your 5-minute time frame, because you know that, okay, we have a break already. You go to your 5-minute time frame, and then let's just bring this guy this side, and then price tapped us in. So the same thing with confirmation entry points, the type of trend that you're in. That's the first thing you want to focus on, knowing what type of trend were you in before price tapped you in, before price tapped into your order block. I'm going to always have problems with these cycles, guys, because I need them. So yeah, let me just put one here so that they can use it. So what trend was this? It was a bearish trend, right? So price created a series of your lows, your high, and then your low, and then your high. Let me just remove this, and then your high here, right? And then what exactly can you see? Price broke this low here. We have a break at this low. And then we have a high that is strong. And then we have a low that is weak, that got itself taken out. And then we have a newly formulated high. And then what can you see from price again here? Price creates, after tapping into our order block, actually, it creates a new low and then formulates a new high. So which means this high here, it was strong. This high here is supposed to be strong, and then the low shall be taken out. As you can see that, okay, the low was taken out. So which means now we don't want to see price doing what? Taking out the low out. I mean, taking out this high here. But automatically, when you look for change of character, you want to see price taking out your highs out, which it does. So let's see what price does. Plays around a little bit, and then it ends up being what? Taking our high out. Once it takes out our high, what comes into your mind? A change of character model. When you have a change of character, what exactly are you using? You're using this guy here as your order block, right? So now you're gonna take your buying opportunities, which are gonna be your long. Let's just use this guy here as our max stop loss here. And then where are you targeting? When I see price doing what? When I see price going straight to this highs here. So which means now this highs here, there's a buy side liquidity lying here. You're gonna see price taking out your buy side liquidity, because now we've switched from a selling structure to a bullish structure. You're gonna take out your highs now, right? So let's see what price does afterwards. It pushes impulsively to the downside, and then does what? It goes down to do what? To tap us in. Once we are in, I just want us to remove all these things now, because we've managed to see the idea. Okay, let's just remove all these things now. Okay, so now you're gonna take our buying opportunities from this zone away to that high there. So we move back to our 4-hour time frame. Move back to our 4-hour time frame. Let's see the RR here. So there's a 30R trade here. So this is what you call a 30R trade. So price does what? It passively moves to the upside till it does what? Till it hits our take profit. Once it hits our take profit, I was like, okay, cool. I'm still doing a JPY again. What exactly am I gonna do? I wanted to trade this thing like for days. I wanted to trade these things for what? For days to understand how it's gonna move, and everything. I went to my 1-hour time frame. When I go to my 1-hour time frame, price broke and close above this high, which means I have what? I have a break now on this high. So let me just show you guys how to map out your things now. If you wanna know how to map out your things, if you wanna map out your structure, so this is how your structure is gonna look. So this guy here will no longer be your high. So this is gonna be your first strong low. You're gonna have this guy here as your high for a bullish structure. Then you're gonna have this guy here as your low, and then you're gonna have this guy here as your high. Like I said, what's our goal is to trade everything, right? That's our goal. We wanna see ourselves trading everything. So now if you cut price somewhere here and then go to your 15 minutes time frame, you still look at the same thing. What trend was price on? Price was on a buying trend, right? As you can see from here, it was buying, creating a series of highs and lows, right? Like it's quite clear. There was a series of highs and lows that price formulated. How can you see that? Let me just prove to you guys, for those that don't believe or whatever. Look at this thing. So this is a high, this is a low, and then this is a high. Yeah, this is a high, and then this will definitely be a low. And then we have this one here, and then we have this one, right? What exactly do you learn from this thing? Price broke this high here, and then we have what? We have this guy here as our strong low. Have this guy here as our strong low, and then now price does what? It goes up to do what? To take this high out, and then it makes this low a strong one, and then now price took this high out here, right? As you can see, this is the current recent taken out high, and then price was not supposed to do what? Price was not supposed to take this low out. What does price do? Price takes that low out, which means now we have what? We have a change of character. So this can only be visible when you go to maybe your 5-minute time frame, right? That's what you're gonna have. So what I did here was that, okay, since well, I can also see that price is trending in between these two zones. What came into my mind was, oh, we are trending in between this high, we're trading in between this high and this low. And then I don't know where to take my entry point. I was like, let me use my golden zone entry point, right? From this high to this low, I mapped out this zone here as my golden zone entry point, right? I mapped out this zone here as my golden zone entry point. And then what I did was that, okay, I took my selling opportunities from where? From here. And then my stop loss will just be just right about this guy. And then this is what I'm going to have. I'm going to close my profits where? At this zone here. I'm going to close my profit somewhere at that zone there. So now let me just remove everything and explain to you guys where I want to close my profits there. Okay, let me just do this again, and then let me remove everything now so that everyone can have a proper idea, because it's not gonna be fine for me to be taking entry points without you guys understanding why these entry points are here. If you move again to, let me just plot this thing here and leave it here. I'm gonna look for shorts here, and then a stop loss just right there. And then let's go back to our 4-hour time frame. Automatically, when you go to your 4-hour time frame, like I said, what exactly do you see? Even our 1 hour, what exactly do you see? We see that, okay, price broke this high here, which means our next entry points will be based off what? Somewhere at the zone here, because of this is our strong low. So we have a low here that is strong. So this is our newly formulated strong low, and then this will be our next strong low. So which means we're gonna take our entry points based off what? Our zone, which is this one here. But if you see that, okay, this zone is quite huge for you, what you can do is that, okay, you can go to maybe your 1 hour time frame, or this is our 1 hour. You can go to your 30 minutes and look for a proper order block. 15 minutes. So you can use this guy here as your entry zone, right? You can use that guy there as what? As our entry zone. So you can go back to your 1 hour time frame afterwards. So now, which means you're gonna take the cells from there and then bring them here at this OB. At this OB, and then now what you're gonna do, you're gonna take those selling opportunities till that zone there. Right, that's what I think. Yeah, let's wait for price. Let's not rush price actually. Oh, let's go back to our 5 minutes time frame, because when we see this thing happening, this means that okay, something might be happening now. So if you take your fib from this high to this low, okay, let's switch that now from here just to this high here, because when we use this one, I believe that price was just gonna take me and go to our order block, which it failed. So I had to continue with structure and use the last low. So let's go back to our 1 hour time frame and see what's gonna happen. So this is a 16-hour trade. So price taps us in, and then price does what? Ends up pushing to the downside. When price pushes to the downside like this, we are targeting what? Our order block, right? We're gonna see price hitting our order block. Price ends up doing what? Price ends up tapping into our order block beautifully so. So we have this trade here at 16-hour trade. You understand? When we hit our order block, we're gonna continue with price. What exactly do we do? We go to our 5 minute time frame. When you get to our 5 minute time frame, what exactly do you see? We have a lot of things here. Price was ranging, I think, at the zone here for several times. Let's just see what happens within the market. So price is currently pushing to the upside. Let me just cut price here and show you guys how I went about taking my current sales. Just after this, go watch my story on Instagram. You'll see that, okay, I'm on this selling opportunities here. So what I did here was that, okay, price was selling, creating a series of lows and highs, and then this was the last break, right? That price had, and then price broke and closed below it, right? That was the last break that I had, and then I was like, since all this is the last break, this means that okay, this will be the high that was not supposed to be that was not supposed to be taken out. You understand? That was the last high that was not supposed to be taken out, right? But then one thing I've managed to see also is that okay, price was ranging a lot. Let's just go to a 10-minute time frame. Price was ranging a lot. Oh, this is where the range happened actually. The range that I'm talking about. This is where price was ranging a lot. So we had this range here, even though price tapped us in, there was that range also within the market, right? So I was like, how about I look for a proper way of taking my entry points without like having any problems. Let me show you what I did actually. Here I made a mistake because I remember that okay, I took some losses. I took few losses at first, and then I ended up being comfortable with everything afterwards. If you come here, you'll see that okay, after price took out the sell side, we had a break here, right? We had this break here, and then price went up, and then it formulated this high here, so it had to come take the low out. What I did was that okay, I went to my 5 minute time frame, and then I did this also, get a break, and then here I ended up having what? I ended up having my change of character here. I ended up having this guy here as my change of character. Let me just fix this. I ended up having this guy here as my change of character. When I had this guy here as my change of character, this means that okay, on 3 minutes, I was gonna have an entry point somewhere here. I was gonna have my entry point somewhere here on 3 minutes. And then now I'm gonna take my longs, right? And then stop loss, just not that huge, but yeah, somewhere there. And then where am I targeting? I'm looking forward to taking this highest out. And then I'm also looking forward to doing what? To taking out the zone out here. So that's what I currently had on my analysis, right? And then let's see what price does afterwards. Comes and taps us in, plays around a lot, and then that's where we start having what? That's where we start having, like I'm always advising you guys, if you are on a trade with stop losses that are tight, make sure that okay, you have what? You have a little bit of a space to make price breathe. Because if price doesn't breathe, you're always gonna get yourself under like a lot of problems. Because your stop loss shall forever be hit. You understand? So let me just remove all these guys that are here. Let me just remove all these guys that are here. Let me just remove all these guys that are here. And then let's go back to our 1 hour time frame. When we get to our 1 hour time frame, we can see that, okay, that's what we currently have. At the moment, I caught this buys here. I'm pushing with price to the upside. Like I said, feel free to go to my Instagram story and check that out. So from my side, guys, this is how I was trading NZD USD for the past few weeks. This is how I've been trading my NZD USD for the past few weeks. And one of my best trades also, it was found on NZD CAD. I'm not sure if I still have it, but NZD CAD also gave me a beautiful sell. We managed to catch this sales from this zone here to the downside. We caught this sales from here, just right exactly there to the downside. You understand? So yeah, if you feel like I'm lying to you, anything like that, go check my free group, which the link is gonna be there at the bottom. And then yeah, wishing you guys nothing but a profitable season. Thank you guys very much.